Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Healing Honey if it's your first time here. Today I want to share with you guys a really important part of our healing journey. And when you're on a self-love journey, celibacy, or you're quitting a substance, if you're on a spiritual path, it's a major key to our transformation process. I learned about it a few years ago, and I just want to share with you an example of how to do shadow work. Okay, and so we're talking about our darkness, right? Because a lot of times we may think that spirituality is just about love and light, God and happiness, joy, the good feelings. But you guys, the truth is that the way you level up and the way you ascend is going through pain. Okay, and so a lot of times people might ask themselves, why did this thing happen to me? Why did I go through this when I was a child? Or something went wrong in my life. But the beauty of God and the universe is that nothing went wrong in your life. Everything happened in divine order. It happened with so much purpose behind it. The beauty of life is uncovering that, getting to learn about yourself and building strength. And so if you really want to heal yourself, a big component of this is shadow work. I'm going to give you an example of how to do this. I was looking through my old notebooks. I found something from 2.5 years ago and I'm like, wow, I feel like this can help somebody out there. So drop me a comment if it does. I'm grateful that you're here. Inner work is so important. It could be something that can scare us, and you don't have to go to therapy for anything like this, and you don't have to be afraid of it. To me, it's exciting. It's this deep dive within myself to uncover myself, what's there, right? And so don't be afraid of this, especially if there's something going on in your life, like a way that you will know that you want to do some shadow work is if there's a reoccurring pattern in your life, or if there's just something that you want to break, or if there's just something that you don't like that's happening in your life. When we get to the root cause, we're able to shift and change. And so think about the shadow. Like, what is the shadow self? The shadow self is the part in you that has been hiding in the shadows. It's very much the parts of you that your ego is afraid of and doesn't want to face, because our egos want to seem perfect and flawless and always be right and be spotless, blameless. But we all have the icky, we all have the light and the dark within us, right? The cool thing too is that in the darkness is where the light can shine. In your pain, in your darkness, in what's hidden in you, the light is you have to shine light on it to exemplify the light, to heal and to integrate, to accept all parts of you. So the shadow was born from non-acceptance. And I remember learning this, I believe I learned this from a Christina Lopez video. I'll link it down below. She's huge on YouTube. She is amazing. And so the shadow, your shadow self, was born from non-acceptance. It's the parts of you that your ego doesn't want to accept. It's hiding because maybe it seems weak. It seems fragile. It seems not appealing. And sometimes we don't want to face that. But that's why real spirituality is about taking off the layers, taking off the armor, and being in a vulnerable space so that you could just really be in your power. But you got to get through it. Like, you got to go right into it. Dive right in, right? So that's what shadow work is. It's exploring the dark parts of you. And you guys, this will set you free. If you're bound to weed or something like that right now, it's just about the programs in your mind. And so things hiding and lurking in your shadow. If you're in a toxic relationship, which I don't really like that term, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you feel bound to them, like, oh, I want to get away, but I love them, I don't know. Okay, diving into your shadow is going to help you. Or if you just want to level up spiritually, energetically, right? Okay, so I told you guys I'd give you an example of shadow work, right? Okay, when I first began this healing journey, I was looking at my past and examining like the relationships I had been in, because during meditation, I observed some thoughts crossing my mind, negative thoughts about relationships and things like that, right? And so I wanted to dive into it. It's something that I recognized within myself that I wanted to change. So if you want to change a negative program or something you don't like that you become aware of, you want to cleanse it from your energetic field if you want to heal, this is an example, okay? So I had negative programs and ideas about relationships. I took this chance to examine myself, and I thought back to my 17-year-old self, 17 years old, a senior in high school, and my relationship with my first love. I was thinking back how he was like cheating, and he was very non-committal, and how I still stayed. Like, we were in a relationship from 17 years old until like 21 years old, right? So my first experiences with love, and they were very turbulent, right? So obviously my first taste of love, or my first relationship, it was gonna make an impact for years later until I was ready to face it, right? So here I am facing it, thinking like, okay, asking myself like, Sash, the first time you realized he cheated, or the first time you realized that he was like too immature to handle your heart with care, like, why did you stay? Okay, I'm giving you an example of shadow work. If I had a thought going through my mind that relationships suck, men always cheat, men are scandalous out here, okay? That's a negative thought in my mind. It doesn't make it reality unless you agree to it, right? Because we are the co-creators of our reality. You are a universe out here. God, the source, has granted you power. Boom. What do you think is true? What you think is true is going to shape your reality. Okay, so that's why shadow work, I'm like, oh, I want to change this negative perception I have of relationships. Where did it stem from? Let's start there, because I can change the meaning, right? Shout out to Aaron Dowdy who taught me this. I can change the meaning of what that experience did in my life. And instead of seeing it with such negative eyes, it showed me that, well, that doesn't feel good. I don't like that. That doesn't work for me. That's not the type of relationship that I want. I choose myself over, I love myself enough to choose what's for my highest good versus even if I love somebody and just trying to appease and be quiet and just stay through a bunch of BS, right? Okay. So I can change the meaning that, oh, yeah, it sucked at the time, but at the same time, it showed me more of who I am and what I'm willing to accept, what works for me, things like that, right? So it can serve you in that way. Now let's go a layer deeper. Okay, why at 17 years old with my first relationship? Because everybody's different. Somebody else out there, if there was any type of cheating, they'd be like, oh, gotta go, like, peace out. Why did I make that decision to stay at that young, tender age? Ooh, I'm sending you love, baby Sash, right? Love every version of yourself, because it was doing the best that they could at the time. You were, okay? It's so true. And so why? Right? So shadow work, diving deep within yourself. Why was I attracted to that type of man on an energetic level? What drew me to him? Oh, okay. Well, who was the real first man that I loved? Shout out to you, Pops. No, but I love my dad so much, but our earliest experiences in life that we can recall, even past lives, but that's a different video. Your first relationship was with your parents. So how they loved you or how they showed up in the world, what you felt from them, that was literally your programming. You had no control. Your consciousness level, right from the womb until like 11 years old, you're just being programmed. So how my dad was with women, what I thought men are like, and what I saw in my environment, that's what soaked into me, programmed me. So when I was of age, that was the kind of man I was drawn to. Many women and doing whatever, this and that, and just accepting it, because a lot of unhealthy reasons. And I'm just here opening up because these are real life issues, like, ladies or fellas too. Like, we have to get to a place where, no, that's not how the world has to be. We make up the world. What are we choosing? What are we settling for? What are our standards? What are our morals? We got to get back to that, right? And so it's not acceptable. The reason why, a little tangent here, but a little reason why we see so much chaos around us right now is because we're accepting it. We're like, oh, men, like, we just assume that, yeah, men are going to cheat, and men have many partners having sex with all these different people, and women just shut up and take it. and deal with it. And don't you know that's just the way it goes? Like the community I came from or the environment I seen, that's what it was like. But we can change that when we do some shadow work. Okay, one time for the shadow work. I just want to say, real quick, because I don't know who be on these videos, and it's never any shade to anybody, you guys, because life is earth. We're on earth school. Okay, this is earth school. Souls have agreed to play certain roles in your life so that we can experience things and make decisions, right? And so my heart is just full of compassion. I'm not holding any grudges. People make the decisions they do for deeper reasons. So don't take anything too personally. And that's why shadow work is powerful, because when you get to understand yourself more of why you behave the way you do, right? So know thyself. And this is golden information that I'm sharing with y'all. So, okay, so to take it even deeper in that relationship, right? Because I'm unraveling these reasons. This is shadow work. Okay, I want to change my perception on relationships. All this, relationships are trash. I got to go. I don't want to be committed because they gonna hurt you. Okay, let me get deeper. I want to change that. Okay, I'm seeing happy couples. It's possible. It's possible for me too, but I got to do the work. This is spiritualist. I'm growing right now, right? I'm changing right now. I can do this. Okay, why was I in that relationship for so many years? Like, you got to ask yourself these questions, because let me tell you right now, people are just like, oh, well, I don't know. Oh, well, that's just how it goes. Life's hard, get over it. Oh, dude, suck it up. Like, I heard that a lot growing up. Okay, so from 17 to 21, he was, treating me crazy. Why did I stay? Well, what was I taught growing up? And this is a collective program for women especially, which is just like suppression, silence, shut up. And so I was taught this. And so, plus you love somebody, right? So you're like, you think it's normal, you love them, and you were taught to just be quiet and take it. So it's about the mindset and being able to free yourself from that, which is why I emphasize on this channel to go ahead and feel your feelings. It doesn't mean that you got to act from an emotional place, because crazy things can happen when you're emotionally charged and you do something. I'm not saying to react and act from your feelings. Learn to compose yourself. But it's important to know what you're feeling and honor that, validate that within yourself, because otherwise you are suppressing your intuition and you are going against your own soul. No, your feelings serve. God is within us. So it's trying to tell you something, right? So I had to unlearn suppression, learn to open my throat chakra, speak up, self-respect, stand up for myself, and honor my feelings. I want you to honor your feelings and be there for yourself, right? And so this is how we're going to build a deeper relationship with self, and doing the work, doing the inner work, the healing, the shadow work, right? So this is how to do shadow work, an example of how to do it. And in this way, you're healing your inner child, you're comforting yourself, you're parenting yourself, things like this, because our parents did the best that they could. They can only teach us what they knew, right? And so we're these beautiful blank canvases that, yeah, had some programming, but you can clean yourself, cleanse yourself. Every moment is new, and you can write your story, right? This is your life. You're the star of this movie, and so you can decide what you want for yourself. You're not stuck. You're not a victim. You are powerful. So I want to remind us of our power. And so, yeah, a lot of us were taught to suppress our emotions, but you're allowed to feel them. With this relationship, I was like, another reason why I discovered why I was staying for so long was an abandonment wound. Like, I felt abandoned as a kid. Even though I wasn't abandoned emotionally, it felt that way, right? Just from divorce and not having the father in the home and things like this. This is very common. And again, I think that people undermine the severity of these things. If you go to therapy, they're gonna call it trauma. And we don't even have to go there if that word scares you or anything like that. But it's basically think about a baby. Think about pure love. Think about light, sensitivity. this world will try to harden you and have you wear a mask and move from your ego to feel like, oh, nothing's gonna bother you. You're unbothered and all this. But are you though? So shadow work helps you go within, be vulnerable, be real with yourself, gain a deeper sense of intimacy, and work through these feelings so that you can release them. The biggest part of healing is just releasing these feelings that have been trapped inside and discovering and deciding who you choose to be in this moment. You guys, something I've discovered is that I feel that we recognize love through contrast in this plane, in the third dimension here on earth, okay? We recognize what love is through contrast. There's duality here. There's two of everything, hot and cold and light and dark and all of this, day and night, man and woman. There's two of so many things. And so when it comes to love, you can know what love is when you feel the absence of love. You know what love is because you know what love is not. So painful experiences and doing shadow work, you see what didn't serve, and then now you have a deeper appreciation for what does. Drop me a comment if that makes sense. And if you're still here with me, I'm sending you love. It's not that shadow work is fun, but if you have any Scorpio placements, like, you might be into it, right? If you're on this channel, you must be into inner work, right? You're up for the challenge. You're gonna feel so much better, so much lighter. You're literally gonna heal yourself on an energetic level. I recommend it. Also, pain could be a catalyst, right? Something, you're feeling some pain or you wanna make a change in your life. Pain is what's gonna force you to get there. Is God speaking to you like, hello, we can change here, I'm gonna be with you, and you got this, right? You're strong. And so to wrap this up, as far as like the shadow work, when I look back at my 17-year-old self, why was I sticking around in a relationship that wasn't serving me? He was cheating. He was kind of in and out in a sense, afraid of commitment, right? Okay. In essence, I was feeling abandoned in that relationship, right? Because if your needs are not being met in a relationship, you feel somewhat of abandon. You're like, am I in this alone? Is this one-sided? I'm giving everything and they're not giving as much. You know, I'm committed, they not committed, or they lying, cheating, whatever, right? But it was familiar. That feeling was familiar. Ooh, this is so deep, right? But it's very common as well. So if you find yourself in a crazy relationship, those feelings, it's not really about the actions, it's about the feelings that you have. If you're feeling abandoned in your current relationship, were you feeling abandoned as a child? Okay, and so again, shadow, it's lurking deep within you. It's not something you just wake up thinking like, I felt abandoned as a child. No, right? And this is just one example. Everyone's different, but it was triggering to me, feeling abandoned, and also it felt familiar. So it's like, if you felt abandoned as a kid, but you're a kid, you're not really conscious of your feelings, you're just going through the motions. Later, you could be in a situation that feels familiar. Oh, I'm feeling those same things again, but in a weird way, it's comforting. In a weird way, it's familiar. In a weird way, it's what I'm used to. This is how I identify love, because the people I loved when I was younger, I felt like this. Now the people I love when I'm older, I feel like this. And that is the nitty-gritty of it, right? And so to make a change, you have to be like, recognize these things, self-awareness, and be like, whoa, that was wrong. It's not about blaming anyone. It's about, that wasn't okay. I'm sending you love in my little self, healing, compassion, being there, grieving, releasing, forgiving, and then being like, okay, I don't want to feel that. I'm worthy of real love. I'm worthy of a healthier relationship. Discovering this within yourself and giving yourself that love that maybe you didn't feel when you were younger. Getting yourself to a stable foundation via self-love and source. And then now you're in a more stable place to attract something different in your life. Okay, so I gave you guys a deep dive into relationships, shadow work, but there's so many things we can do this on. So for example, I know a lot of people are here who are quitting weed, for example, right? Just ask yourself one question of why you smoke weed. Just start there. And take a little dive within. Drop me a comment if you're going to do some shadow work, or if you've done anything. What changes have you seen in your life? And that's it for me, you guys. I'm sending you so much love, so much power and healing on your journey. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in my next video.